Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get Better, a show about two longtime friends trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. I'm Zach Johnson.
And I'm Sam Cherry. Zach, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm really excited for this episode. Definitely did. There's a lot to learn, I think, from things you sent me on your end, as well as we're finally getting into our monster movie marathon. So very excited to see that. Yeah, so been doing well. Yeah.
It is the spooky season, so of course, midnight movies. Sorry, midnight movies is now moved into the Universal monsters. First up being Frankenstein. When you say, are you referring to me talking about the sequels to Frankenstein?
No, I'm referring to a tweet you sent me today.
Unrelated.
Unrelated. I was gonna say it's pretty rare that I see something online that I don't know any of the words to or anything that's going on, and so I was hoping that you would explain some of that to me because you were the one that found it.
Yeah, this is a definite yes, no.
Is it yes, no?
Okay. Would you like to describe in true yes, no fashion, which is a joke from Reply All if you guys don't know what that means, but in true yes, no fashion, Zach, would you like to explain the tweet to the audience?
Yeah, sure thing. I'm gonna quickly watch this video in its entirety just so I get some of the intricate
nuance.
Parts of it.
I don't know if I can actually pull the clip. I don't know how to do that from a Twitter clip, so I won't be able to put the audio straight in. But so you'll have to describe it.
Okay, let me watch it really quick.
Okay. So one question for all my haters at home: where am I? And where are you? I'm on OpenSea shopping for a lazy lion with a $600 lazy hat, $500 lederhosen, $200 party hat. And don't let me remind you about my 14 lazy lions.
Yup.
Where
okay, let me
shopping for a lazy lion with a $600 lazy hat.
Okay, that's the thing that I really wanted to nail in on. Wait, what was the first thing you said? Don't care about that.
I'm on OpenSea.
OpenSea. Okay, like Open Sesame.
I'm 100% on this one. I mean, I sent it to you, so that makes sense.
I'm so I will explain the tweet. So the tweet
also,
you sent,
I think the audio came through, so they did just hear it as well.
Okay,
just for your context of not having to over-explain it, but yes.
Okay, but I will just in case the audio is totally unusable.
Sure.
So you sent me a tweet, and it is from the Lazy Lions NFT guy.
Yep.
And it says Sigma Grand Set. That's right, Grand Set.
Yep.
And it is of another person at Lazy Lion NFT, which I didn't even look into. But I'm looking into it now. It looks like Lazy Lion NFTs is a NFT community for kings.
Yep.
So that's pretty exciting. Now, the only reason that I'm not a 0% on this is I actually know this person that's talking.
I'm so glad that you know who the guy is. Because I know who the guy is, but it was going to be really hard to explain. Could you please explain who the guy is in the video?
Yeah, so the guy that's in this video is a guy named Hard Rock Nick. And
I love Hard Rock Nick.
Hard Rock Nick is this guy that was making the rounds on Twitter and YouTube a couple of years ago because he would say these really outlandish claims. And he would one thing he would do was he'd be like, "This is my hotel," and it's the Hard Rock Cafe, and it was like, "This is my exactly," and he's like, "This is my hotel. This is my private room. This is my private bathroom," and he's just in a hotel room describing a hotel room.
Right.
And then there'd be other times where he would just be in his car doing videos of I'm going to tell you something. Girls do not want you to succeed. They want you to be a broke ass guy. They do not want to see you shine. And
Famously, that's what women want.
Yeah, and so it went on like this for a bit, and his Instagram was where people really started investigating into him, because it would be like, just got this Tesla, and it'd be like what is clearly a picture of a Tesla in
Yeah.
a like Tesla showroom.
Yeah.
And then he drives around this like car that looks like a car from Mad Max. Like, it's got all these bumper stickers on the back of it and like Hard Rock Nick and all this stuff. And it's like this souped up Camaro looking thing. So anyway, that's Hard Rock Nick. Look him up. He is such a weird dude. He is he's such a strange cat. He has these things. He's a real Sigma. I think he's more of an alpha male if I'm still following underneath it. He's like the kind of guy that, so he has these really pronounced eyebrows that are
very
like
manicured eyebrows.
Very manicured eyebrows. And he has these videos where he's like, don't get a girl that wears too much makeup. You don't know what they're hiding. Girls are like that, don't have any self-confidence. And it's like, looking at him, it's like, you're wearing a lot of makeup, Hard Rock Nick. And like, that's fine, but like, why are you being weird?
You look like all of the counter girls at Sephora combined. Like, you took all the makeup of every girl at Sephora and put it all on your face at once. Like,
yeah.
What are you talking about, Hard Rock Nick?
He looks kind of like what's her name? Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
He does
but just
look
like not
like
wearing
Ursula.
a wig. Yeah.
Who, is of course modeled after Divine, I think Divine, a famous drag queen.
So yeah.
So it's like,
he must
like
by ipso facto, he looks like Divine.
Yeah.
But so I was so excited to see him again, because he was really this like the king, the final boss in the Rise and Grind like Twitter world.
Love Rise and Grind, guys.
Yeah. So it is of no surprise to me that he has gotten into the world of NFTs, because obviously he has.
And good
that is about it. I know what an NFT is. I don't know what it stands for.
Sure.
And all the lazy line shit, totally gone.
Okay. Well, and of course you know what a Sigma male is.
Oh yeah. I don't know what a grand set is.
I from context clues, I think I know what it is. If you're looking for some more Hard Rock Nick content, the way I got introduced to him and the way I assume Zach got introduced to him, I think Danny Gonzalez has a video called "The Hardest Flexer of All Time."
Yeah.
All about Hard Rock Nick, and it's pretty funny. I mean, the dude's funny. He definitely
on Saturday morning.
He lives in Dr. Sam's cabinet of internet weirdos. Like, I see, as well as all NFT dudes. They all have their own section in the cabinet.
He's kind of he's kind of gone off. He's kind of been put into an internet bunker for a while. So I'm just, of anything else, I'm just glad to see him again.
I was really surprised it was him. Like, I was just looking at the NFT Lazy Lion guy, or whatever his name is. Whatever you said earlier for the audience, that's his Twitter handle. That's the guy's like name. But I was looking at his stuff because I love NFT guys. And then I found that video. I was like, oh, cool. I'll watch a funny video because it says Sigma grind set. And it's like, of course, I'll watch anything captioned Sigma grind set. And then I was like, oh, shit, that's the guy. That's the hardest flexor of all time. It's the guy. Anyway, okay. So I'm going to start from base just because I know you said you know what an NFT is, but, well, I guess no, I won't. You tell me what you think an NFT is, because a lot of people have a big misconception as to what they are.
So an NFT, from my understanding, is something, I know the T stands for token, and it's like tied up
token.
Non-fungible token.
Correct.
And so it is this thing that's tied up in the world of cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. So the entirety of cryptocurrency is based on scarcity. There's only so many Bitcoins, and that means that when there's less of them, the value of them goes up. So if there is only one of something, this non-whatever token, if there is only one of them, then it is its value is high if it's something that's worthwhile. And a lot of people have made NFTs of things. I'm trying to think of like, I'm going to use this guy as an example. I don't think this person has done it, but it's the cat that's like Bad Luck Brian. That meme from
Yeah.
like circa 2006, that like original picture of him.
Yeah.
He could make an NFT of that, and then it's like, this is my property, like everything, like there's only one original and this is the original, and then
Yeah.
he could then turn and then flip that for like $30,000 because some internet weirdo wants to have like what is tantamount to if they only made one baseball card, and it's like, this is the one Babe Ruth baseball card.
Right. Yes.
That is my
Kind
my
of.
understanding of it.
You're actually missing. You were not wrong, but you were missing, I think, what I find the hilarious turn. And I even watched videos about NFTs right before this just to double check that this is what it is. If I'm
Okay,
wrong, I
good.
don't give a shit. Don't email me, but I'm pretty sure this is like a very funny turn about NFTs. So, yes. Where to start? Where to start without just immediately giving away the gag?
Ooh.
So I, as a joke, the other day turned our logo into an NFT.
As a joke.
As a joke. Well, more I was just curious because I was learning about it because I was following this fucking guy. And I was like, how hard is this? Because they always talk about the environmental impact, and they're like, oh yeah, it takes like all the electricity of Denmark. So I thought like, oh, this is gonna take a really long time. It took like minutes, which I was a little confused by, but not even minutes. It took like the whole process took minutes. Making the NFT took like seconds. I was a little confused by how it does so much environmental damage, but whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so you take the image and basically the computer zibba-zabbas, and then it creates this token, which is a really long, like, code, basically, like, series of letters and numbers and whatever. It's a code. And so a lot of the jokes that people will make on Twitter about NFTs is like, oh, look, I own this picture of Bad Luck Brian. And then they're like, oh, LOL, right click, save as. Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, basically what an NFT is a receipt saying you own this image. So when you save as the image, that's actually a separate, different image, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
In the concept, it's like, you know that joke about like, would you steal a car, or would you download a car? And it's like, well, if I could download the car and the original car was still there, then yeah, probably. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically, okay, sorry. You understand that maybe there was an old ad about piracy of like internet piracy where it was like not like yarg, but like internet piracy. And
but kind of like Yar.
Yarg. And it was like, would you download a car? No, because it's stealing. Don't download.
You wouldn't download a baby.
Don't illegally
You wouldn't
download
you
music or a baby.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone,
and then it would say piracy is theft.
Yeah.
You could go to jail.
Yeah.
And it was like back in the days when like Kazam was like really cooking, and so was like LimeWire.
The Pirate Bay.
Things like when stuff like that was like really getting big, and then Spotify came along and done solved that.
Did you ever get on Groove Shark?
Yeah.
So you know that they got shut
Friend
down.
of the show, Andrew showed me about Groove Shark.
Oh, go figure. Frequent guest. So anyway, they got shut down because what they were doing was just like blatantly illegal. And if you go to Groove Shark, I don't know if this is true anymore, but it used to be if you'd go to grooveshark.com, they had to put up like a public notice that was like, we're sorry, we did an illegal thing, and like they have to like publicly apologize for just like blatantly, just like, because it was like the music was just up. It was like a proto streaming site. Like you had to search each track, and you could search it by title, and then you could play basically every pirated version that was uploaded. So it was
Mhm.
not like a really robust, but it was a proto streaming site, and yeah, now their URL is like Wasawi, which I find really funny. Anyway, so in this ad, would you download a car? And the joke, of course, being like, well, I would download if I could download a car and get an exact replica of that car, and the original owner of the car still had their car. Yeah, why the fuck would I care? Yeah, sure, why?
Yeah.
Of course I would do that.
Neither person in this should care.
Yeah, exactly. The only person who's upset is the car dealer, and I don't give a shit about them in this example, although probably in my real feelings, I just haven't thought about it. Anyway, so that is essentially what is but you would have like two different files, right? If you download a Counting Crows song, and then someone else downloads that same Counting Crows song, you have two different files, even though they're the same file, same number of
beeps and
boops, whatever they're called. Bytes is what I was actually thinking of. It's all the same, but they're two separate files. That's essentially what you're getting when you right-click Save As. And the token is saying this very specific file, this specific one, not the one that you right-click Saved As, this specific one belongs to Zach, right? That's what the token. So really, the thing that is valued, and we can get into like, well, I don't know. I don't want to be boring. I've been reading Marx, and so I have a lot of
I'm
thoughts.
interested. I don't even know. I don't even know what it is that how they do have value. I just see the gorillas making NFTs of Plastic Beach, and then people are like,
Right.
whoa, gotta have it.
So I could give you Marx's theory of value and like how anything gets.
Skip that.
Well, it might be a good preface, but whatever. Anyway, they have speculative value, basically. They don't have real value. They have speculative investment value. So their only value is that people think that somebody dumber than them will pay even more of it later. Because really, their value is very, very low in like a real sense, I think. Anyway, my whole point of welcome to Moneyboys. My whole Moneyboys 3 non-fungible podcast.
Non-refundable. This is non-refundable.
Moneyboys 3 non-fungible podcast. So you have the token. Hey everybody, it's Sam from the future. I do in fact go on to explain Marxist economics for about 15 minutes, and so I have done you the service of cutting all of that out. It was very boring, and the point is NFTs are stupid. Thank you. That value is,
but not as much as the thing. Not
as the whole thing.
There is no amount of explaining you can get to me. None. Zero.
Okay, wait.
Hours and hours. That will convince me.
One more example. And
that will convince me that Lazy Lions. This thing I've been clamoring for.
No, it's garbage. No, that's not my conclusion. No, they're trash. NFTs are stupid. Sorry. I didn't know if that was already clear by me making fun of them. They're stupid. I'm just trying to explain.
It sounded like you were talking about how they're actually useful.
No,
that was my take. That was the take I was getting away from it, was you were like, this is actually pretty cool.
No, they're way, way, way stupid. I guess what I'm trying to explain is that there is value, but it is an incredibly small amount. So I'm going to give one example, and then I will let it go, and we can go back to just doing jokey jokes and making fun of these people. The NFT has value. But that value is the equivalent of like 4 hours of computer time. And it is not $30,000 or whatever the fuck these people are selling them for.
Okay, thank you all so much for coming to Economics with Sam.
Here's where I should have stopped. I should have stopped it when I said they are selling for so much because the people buying them think that someone dumber than them is going to pay even more money. I was trying to explain like a sensible root of value and why these are
no. I'll tell you right now, none of that ever crossed my mind at any point in time. Like no one, I think, is it. it is simply about, I think, the illusion of scarcity and or that you're gonna have like a super duper trading card. Not that it's like, oh, the computer did this much time, therefore it's worth this value. I think that it's like however much, you know.
Okay, the part that I was making fun of, yes, you do have a super duper trading card. But that trading card is the token, which is a random set of numbers and letters. It would be like scooping up your dog's shit and be like, no one else owns my dog's shit. And it's like, that's true. You're like, I have this one. I have the one of this dog's shit. But it's like, yeah, but I don't care. I don't want that thing. So, like, yes, they have a token, but if you convince some neighbor kid that your dog's shit could be resold later for $20,000 and you'll give it to them today for $10,000, and they're like, hell yeah. And then they give you $10,000 for your dog's shit because they think someone else will buy your dog's shit for $20,000 later.
Got it.
Now you have an investment asset. But there's no value. There is value. Well, there's not value in dog shit, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the actual...
Maybe, you know? I mean, don't knock my hustle. Maybe I'm going to try to get that going.
The actual relative value of the object based on the labor put into it is completely unrelated to the exchange value, which is fully speculative, because we stopped making like tires and shit in our country, and now we just like make up fake assets to sell.
Yeah.
So I made our logo an NFT, and I'm done. I'm tired now.
No, I want to hear about the Lazy Lion.
Lazy Lion is just a collection of NFTs. They're stupid, speculative.
But what are they?
They're just...
And what is CNET? And what is
CNET?
That's what he said. He said he went to CNET. Lazy
OpenSea.
Lion.
OpenSea. OpenSea is the website that you buy NFTs on, and you sell NFTs. Or if you're me, you also make NFTs.
And it's just like, it looks like Yville. Like, it looks like this, like, you're just making little lions. That's so funny.
They're
and
so stupid. It's literally just like a program
and
where
he's spending money on a lazy hat.
So that part I actually didn't fully understand, because I thought you just pick, but I think it might be like when you're customizing your picture, it costs money per like customization. Like if for this face tattoo, it costs $600 to put this face tattoo on your JPEG.
Yeah, hold on. Here we go. That's a lazy hat, brother.
Again, like blah blah blah. I guess the value of that lazy hat comes from the labor it took for the artist to draw it, but it's just like stupid. It's so stupid. It's not worth
funny.
That amount of money.
Big shout out to the person that came up with this little, like, it's just like
it's the dumbest shit.
It's the equivalent of like if you went back into like a Club Penguin and it's just like, my penguin is like da 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 da.
And they were like, I'll give you $30,000 for the login to your Club Penguin account. And it's like,
okay, first and foremost, if you
go
to lazylionNFT.com, first thing you see is like a lion with like a martini, like greeting you. Yeah. And it's like he's greeting you to like the Bachelor in Paradise Island. And one of the first things you see is a tab that says rewards. Like rewards, but roar rewards.
Like roar.
Yeah, roar. Like
a lion would do.
Yeah, roar rewards. Oh my gosh.
Fuck.
There's a Discord channel. Oh my god.
Gotta join the Discord.
Gotta go to the Discord channel.
How do
I get onto the Discord channel? Let's see. The private island is open. A private Discord channel will be available exclusively for Lazy Lion owners. Fuck. How do I
buy a Lazy Lion for $10,000?
I don't want to do that. Oh, wait, here we go.
Is this when we start a Patreon so we can buy one Lazy Lion?
Yeah, I really just want to buy one Lazy Lion. I'm gonna call me Moneybags Wards.
Sure.
It's
My
asking
name
me
is
money.
first name Jeffrey, last name Epstein. Anyway,
My
can
name
I
is
get your lazy lion?
Moneybags Awards. Okay, beep boop. I'm a human. Don't worry about it. Don't ask me any questions. Oh boy, am I in? Is the boy in?
I'm glad you're on the show to make it funny and not me bullshitting about marks for half an hour. Thank you.
Listen, I just okay. Why is it? Discord's asking for my birthday. Don't fucking know my birthday. Don't.
Oh,
I don't
you
want these
tell
guys.
people your address on this show. I mean, sure, don't tell
Okay,
anyone
fine.
your
My
birthday
birthday.
either.
Okay, fine. My birthday is June 12th.
Fuck you.
That's not my birthday.
Oh,
That was a,
oh wait,
that
I
was a
knew
little bit of
that.
that was a bit of a trick.
Yeah, no, I know that.
I don't care about that. Oh shit, I'm in.
Are you in the Discord?
Yeah, I'm in. I'm trying to.
Can you
I
drop a
only
link
see-
to our stream?
Yes, I can. Hold on.
So there's a different thing. I just heard this on Chapo last week, but there's a different thing called like endangered ape or like enraged ape or some dumb fucking bullshit with NFTs. Where they basically did this, where they sold a bunch of NFTs of like monkeys smoking cigarettes or something, and
Yeah.
they were like, "There's gonna be a game, and they're gonna fight each other, and you need to give us a bunch of money because we're developing a game." And then they just like pieced out, and like because it was all anonymous, they ended up leaving. They ended up like bouncing with like $2.5 million.
Yeah.
All these people, and then the people were like, "Man, we still believe in this project," so they're re-upping it.
It's
with
the
their
hodl
JPEGs.
thing. Yeah.
No, that's what it is. They like literally are starting a new project of like whatever Redux or Angry Apes Redux, where it's like, hey, we're starting a new NFT project, and anyone who has an Angry Ape original gets a free Angry Ape Redux, and we're like doing it again. And it's like, you guys, you literally just got scammed by the dumbest scam in the world, and you're like, oh, well, we still believe in this NFT thing, even though we know personally how big of a scam it is. They have no value, is my point. They have no value.
So I did click on the rewards thing, and it is asking me to connect my Ethereum wallet.
Oh, see, I had to get one of those to make an NFT.
You had to get an Ethereum wallet,
I had to get an Ethereum
not like a
wallet.
Bitcoin. That's so funny.
No, it was
Oh
on
my gosh.
Coinbase.
Well, then you will be able to connect your Ethereum wallet when you go onto Lazy Lion's rewards.
I'm really excited. All right, we are at 45 minutes. We need to. We have 41 minutes. I'm sorry.
I'm ready. I'm ready to discuss. We just want to move right into. Whatever we're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like that was enough.
Midnight movies.
I feel like that was enough Moneyboys NFT edition.
Yeah.
So let's get into our second segment, Midnight Movies.
God, we should start a thing like a Lazy Lions or like a chain smoking monkey thing, and just get our bag, our bag so we can get more bags down the road. Yeah.
The thing is with NFTs is it seems like everybody thinks that they're the one that's gonna get the bag. It's
and then you're the one that's left holding the bag.
It's a real Ouroboros of people holding bags. It's really, I think I'm not.
You do have a bag, but inside the bag is the aforementioned dog shit. It's just like,
exactly.
Oh, fuck.
It's like a weird Tom Sawyer thing where you're all being talked into actually holding the bag, but you think you think that's the prize, is you get to be the one holding the bag, and you're like, but nobody else has
it's
a string of characters that says they have this bag, and it's like,
and you're just like a group of 1920s hobos with the top hats that are smashed at the top, and then suspender goes, well, looks like I got the bag. Everything's coming up old stinky.
Right, and you go to the bank, and you're like, they said this bag was worth $20,000. And they say, this is a bag of dog shit. And you're like, I know. Pretty smart investment, huh? And it's like, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get into
Midnight
to midnight
movies.
movies. So as Sam said at the beginning of the episode, the midnight movie that we watched this time around for our first one in the monster series was I, Frankenstein, a movie that came out in 2014.
2014,
Uh,
I,
s-
Frankenstein.
so I will tell you this, Sam. We recorded a bit later tonight, so I did watch the first half of I, Frankenstein.
Okay. I was gonna say I remember I, Frankenstein. I did a presentation on Frankenstein movies
And then
in
you were like,
college.
okay.
It doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about the presentation, but if I remember correctly, I, Frankenstein is trying to get on that sexy monster Twilight vibe, and so they have hot Frankenstein.
They have hot Frankenstein. I gotta tell you, I, Frankenstein fucking rules. It
Is
is not rules in the literal sense, but rules in this is the most egregious thing I've seen in a long time.
Okay, on the negative
In
10 to 10 scale,
Oh
where's the first
man.
hour of I, Frankenstein?
Hour and 30, or not hour, it's like hour and I think it's like hour and 10. It's a long ass movie.
You
It's
could
like
have watched Frankenstein twice.
I did. I already seen Frankenstein.
That's fair.
I would say the first hour, I would say it's like a negative. I'd say it's like a negative four or five.
Okay.
It's like it's not like so enjoyable like The Room or Manos Hands of Fate, but there's like in the first 10 minutes, it like picks up right after the book Frankenstein ends
Oh my
with
gosh.
him walking through the tundra, uh, and him just being like, "I'm no man, I'm just a monster." Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then he buries Victor Frankenstein in this. He buries Victor Frankenstein in this graveyard, and then this is all within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
A demon comes and attacks him, and the demon's like, "You're coming with me." And then, while he's getting attacked by all these demons, a group of gargoyles come,
Fuck.
and then
How do the gargoyles look?
they look like gargoyles, but they do turn into
Oh.
models. It's okay.
They turn into
They
models?
they look like gargoyles, but then when they're fighting, they transform out of gargoyle form, which why would you ever do that?
Why would you ever
And
do
then
that?
and they have like swords and knives and stuff. It goes, "Hey, you know it's actually way more effective than all this is your big rock hands. Like just be a gargoyle and you can fly, whatever."
Okay,
So
I'm looking it up, and it says one of the options was Gargoyle Queen. So it seems the gargoyles
yeah.
are the antagonists of the film.
No, the gargoyles are actually the heroes. So what happens is Frankenstein unknowingly gets pulled into a centuries-long conflict between gargoyles and demons, where
Okay.
demons are. And by the way, every time that you like when you kill a demon, they just explode. They explode into fire. And when you kill a gargoyle, a giant beam of light comes from the sky and like raptures them up. And the gargoyles are extremely religious. They don't talk about it in the movie all that much, but the
But you can
gargoyles
tell.
but the gargoyles, like, I mean, they don't it's like they don't really sit on it, but like the gargoyles believe in God ferociously. Two
As do
are
the both of
descended from
us.
but they are descended from archangels, which is like their warrior. Their whole thing
Got it.
is that they're warriors for God. So like their whole thing is like we have to protect the humans because this is what God would have wanted. And then Frankenstein's like, God didn't create me, and then it's just like, you know what, but God let you live. And so they're just like super duper religious.
Cool.
And it's so that's
Do
a
they
really
fuck?
weird. I don't think they do. I think they're
That's-
all extremely celibate.
That
So
sucks. Okay, cool.
yeah, but anyway, so it's demons versus gargoyles. It's awesome. And so the demons want to get Frankenstein so that they can, and this is a quote from the movie. I didn't see how it panned out in the next 45 minutes,
Sure.
but they want Frankenstein so that they can, quote, bring back their fallen brothers. And remember when I said their fallen brothers explode into
Got it.
fire. There is no bodies left remaining over. There is no, we can just like zap some electricity into this thing and then it will become a person again. They explode into fire.
Zach,
And it is
what is the over under on the probability that they are ever going to explain why Frankenstein is necessary for that?
so the reason why Frankenstein is necessary is because they want to study Frankenstein so that they can
Oh, now I see
so
why
so
the
that so
body
that
part
they
matters.
yeah, so that they can like learn how to create life again. And I don't know, to the audience who has not read Frankenstein,
Good book.
Frankenstein famously in the book, Victor Frankenstein never explains how he was able to bring Frankenstein to life.
Correct.
He says that truth is dangerous and no one should ever know because like it is a burden that he has this information. And
Because
so
importantly in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein the book, it's all written in this back and forth series of like diaries. So
yes.
he is writing to an audience of whoever found his diary. So it's not like it's like you have this third person narrative explain like, oh, and then Victor was in the room and yada yada. No, I mean it's him talking to you and he says I'm not going to explain it. Which on Mary Shelley's part, good call.
Yeah. So they never explain what it is, but in in I Frankenstein,
Sure.
they have a book of Frankenstein's scientific studies that basically led to the monster creating Adam. Which, by the way, how in the book he calls himself Adam.
Yeah.
He's like, I've given myself a new name, Adam. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a monster.
Big part of the movie.
But
Big part of the book.
in I Frankenstein, another character gives him the name Adam, and I wish I just wish he would have gone fucking duh I got it, like I already know, like don't tell me who I am.
I really like the book Frankenstein. It's not like my favorite book, but I really like it. And and don't worry, audience. I know you're chomping at the bit to hear about the Frankenstein movie, but I am like angry at every depiction of Frankenstein because they're all based, it seems, on the 1931 film that we watched. Like it seems no one who's ever made a Frankenstein movie has ever like read the not very long book Frankenstein, and it drives me crazy. But sure.
But the last thing I'll say about I Frankenstein from the first 45 minutes is they get a hold of his scientific journals, and then there is just a moment. It's just like this perfect moment that I think that launches it from a -4 to a -5.
Sure.
Where this girl is holding the book and she goes, "Oh, electric eels. That's how he did it."
Fuck you. Okay. Fuck. All right. Okay.
All right,
let's talk about Frankenstein.
Let's talk about like 1931. So this is as Sam said, directed in 1930. It was made in 1931. It was the second of the Universal monster movies, the first one being Dracula. And before we get started, I'd like to say, hold on, let me grab my notes.
I'm gonna grab a beer.
So as we get started in this succession, I would like to say, how do you do? Because that's how the movie starts. I was so puzzled. This guy, the movie starts with a person coming out from around a curtain, and it's just like, how do you do? This movie's gonna be pretty scary, so
yeah,
just know that. And then and the movie starts.
It's these libs and their safe spaces, these snowflakes, because the movie does start in 1931 with a trigger warning that this is gonna be spooky ooky. And the guy walks out and he's like, just so you know, the movie's going to be spooky ooky if that's not good for you. But here's the thing. I was reading, leave now. I was reading the Wikipedia and actually was banned in several places because they were like, it'll scare children and nervous people. Like they literally were like, this movie, this silly ass movie is too spooky ooky for audiences.
Yeah.
So I know that the guy coming out like is... I don't think it's a joke, but it's kind of
No,
it's
it
like I can't be
100%, because he
well, but
says the
he
first thing he
knows
says.
it's not he's not actually warning people. He's like
No, I think,
setting the
but
mood.
I don't know. The first thing he says is Mr. Lamel, like Carl Lamel, is the guy
Yeah.
that produced it. Which, by the way, me and my girlfriend saw a documentary on the producer Carl Lamel, and
Yeah.
it was butt ass, and that's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
So when I saw his name on screen, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, it's that guy that we saw that horrible documentary of."
The guy from
That
the
guy
bad
that
documentary.
It's like the guy that lived an incredibly interesting life that was encapsulated in a terrible documentary. What a
That we
what
won't
a
even
good time.
we won't even say the name of because it was so bad.
Yeah. I think it was just called like A Life or something. But anyway,
Sucks. What a bad name for a documentary.
the first thing he does is he's like the producer told me to like warn you guys because it's gonna get pretty spooky in here, and we're gonna talk about life and death. Anyway, if you want to leave now, you better do it because it's gonna get pretty wet and wild. Enjoy the show.
I think of it like, you remember when Paranormal Activity came out and all of the trailers, which this was a great ad campaign, all the trailers for Paranormal Activity were cameras pointed at the audience.
Yeah.
They were screaming and being scared. I think it's like that, where they're like, you're going to Frankenstein. Most people probably were aware of the book and like knew what Frankenstein was. And so then this guy comes out and he's just like, this movie's gonna be spooky, to like set the fun, in the same way that like if you want to go see a scary movie, you see Paranormal Activity trailers and you're like, holy shit, those people look so scared. I wonder what this is. That's how I took it.
Okay.
But knowing the fact that like it also was literally banned places because it was too ooky and spooky.
I'm thinking that in 1931, and because like horror films weren't even there wasn't even a name for them yet. I'm thinking that this was probably more done in earnest.
Oh, maybe. Who knows? So the movie begins
with Fritz and Henry, two best buddies.
Not Igor.
Not Igor. That's Dracula.
Wait, really?
And yeah, in my notes here, I wrote Igor and crossed it out, and I went Fritz, and then I wrote underneath it, Igor is from Dracula. At least I think so.
No. Well, okay, so maybe. But my impression is that in later year, in the same way that in this movie they introduced the idea that Frankenstein was created from lightning, my impression was that in later years, Fritz's name got changed to Igor, because Igor is in like the popular conception.
Oh, it is Frankenstein. Okay, I thought yeah.
But it's not from this. It's from like later incarnations of the movie. And Igor doesn't exist, or Fritz or whatever doesn't exist in the book at all. Like,
wait, hold on, here we go.
Go ahead.
It says here, Igor is Vladislav Dracula's servant. He was also employed by Dr. Frankenstein as his assistant, but chose later to betray his employer to the Dark Lord after the creation of Frankenstein's terrible monster. What is... This is from vanhelsing.fandom.com. So,
but do you think this is purely a Universal... Because we're going to talk about the sequels at some point, but like, do you think this is purely a Universal Studios multiverse situation?
Maybe.
Where like Igor is in the... Because we haven't watched Dracula yet. But like Igor is in the Dracula movie, and then I'll tell you, in the sequels, the reason they're so wet and wild is because they're all like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
Yeah.
And then the one that I'm really interested in is called House of Frankenstein, where Wolfman and Dracula and Frankenstein are all in the same movie. And then I think the sequel to that is called House of Dracula. It gets really crazy with all...
And then Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Exactly. All of these bad boys are all in the same place. So maybe Igor is in the Dracula movie, and then later in sequels he becomes... maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We'll have to find out.
But so
Felix
we meet
is the guy.
Yeah, we meet Fritz.
Whatever.
And then we meet Henry. Henry, for everyone's favorite boy, Henry Frankenstein.
Not
Yeah, I
Victor
learned.
Frankenstein, which is very weird.
Yeah, they learned that they changed the name from Victor to Henry because they thought that Victor was too unsettling for like North American audiences. This is like, what?
These,
Like,
these people lived through World War One. Like, I don't know what these. Well, I don't understand. I don't understand.
yeah, yeah.
Like, they'll be fine if they hear the name Victor. They'll be fine.
Yeah. So Fritz and Henry, they are doing a bit of grave robbing. They
As
go
you do with your
to
boys.
they rob some graves. They go to a hanging, and I guess they just plumb left the body after the hanging, and they
Sure.
all went home.
Of course.
Yeah. So we're following those two guys, so it's those two characters, and then there are these other two characters that get introduced. It is Elizabeth and Victor. Victor. It's
Not Victor Frankenstein.
not Victor Frankenstein.
Different guy.
But it's Elizabeth and Victor, and the way they were introduced was it is them looking at what is clearly an actor's headshot of Henry,
Yeah.
and they're just like, we miss Henry. God, we love him so much. We both love Henry. And
That's why we
I
have
didn't-
this thing.
And this photograph of his headshot. I didn't know who these two characters were.
Sure.
And it took me almost the entire movie to be like, oh, those are just his friends. Or
Well-
like that's his fiance
Right,
and that's
yeah,
his
yeah.
best friend. I thought they were his parents, and I was like, wow, this is very miscast. Like this is like they're like around his age. I don't know why they got these very young actors for this.
Yeah.
And because she kept saying Victor, I was like, wait, is this Frankenstein? Is this Victor Frankenstein? Who was
Right.
the other guy?
Nope. They just
Um,
decided to go ahead and put another guy named Victor.
Yeah. And then they're introduced to a doctor, and the doctor is the guy that gave the speech in the beginning.
Right.
So it's two best friends, Fritz and Henry, and then their best friends, Elizabeth and Victor, and then a doctor. And that kind of follows the whole thing. We get to meet Henry's parents, or Henry's dad rather, who is a
Yeah.
weirdo who's wearing like a fuzzy hat, like a fez, I guess
Yeah.
they're called, or like whatever the Shriners would wear, I guess.
A fez. Shriners
A
wear
fez,
fezes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's really I think unlike the Earth versus the Spider, this one takes a little bit longer to get into the action.
And I will say that the
Um,
second half of it, boy, it just speeds on by. It just really
Yeah.
We just really zip
Yeah,
to the because this is
yeah.
a tight 71 minutes. I know, which I
Yeah, it
It's
moves
great.
at a clip, yeah.
but it really starts
Um,
going once we start going.
Yeah, so once Frankenstein gets birthed, I guess. First off, I love the sound. Like, there's like things with this movie that are obviously like the reason that makes it like a classic.
Yeah.
I love the sound design in the scene where like they're in the castle and he's explaining everything.
Yeah.
Like how he's gonna make Frankenstein or the monster, whatever, come alive. And there's like all of this like lightning in the back, like thunder in the background, all this it's very loud and intense.
Yeah.
And I could see how audiences from like 1931 would be like, this is getting kind of out of hand. Because it is
right.
like, even though I was listening to it just through my headphones, I was like, this is a loud ass scene.
Well, the highest grossing film before that was like Train Comes Into the Station. So like, yeah, this
yeah.
is like I mean, it's a good movie. It's like a good movie, and their bar is incredibly low. Like, it's still a fun watch today, but like their
Yeah.
bar is incredibly low.
But in the scene where he's about to, he's like explaining how he's gonna bring life to the monster.
Yeah.
He says something that I think is really funny and like very 1931 science. He's like, "You told me, Professor, that there was no color higher than ultraviolet. Well, you were wrong. There is a color higher than ultraviolet, and that's what gives people." It's like, and that's the color that God used to bring life to humans. And it's like, motherfucker found a new color. Like, what are you talking
you mean, like,
about?
You mean X-ray? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, we have...
Yeah, but he says like
that's funny.
there's an even like there's an
It's
even
called
like a new
blurple.
like a
Blurple, the color
new
of
color,
God.
a brand new color, and it's gonna blow your ass off. Like, And like,
you better
his
hug your
explanation
ass
is
'cause
like
it's
he
gone
needs
after this.
after you see this new color,
Blurple's gonna
like,
blow your ass out of your body.
and it's just maroon or something. But like he's doing this thing where he's like half-assedly explaining how he's gonna give life, and like, whatever, he could just
Who
been
cares?
like,
Yeah, whatever.
there's a monster, I don't give a shit.
But it's just
But
what
it's-
Mary Shelley does, where she says,
Yeah.
"I don't give a shit. There's a monster. Who cares?" And
Yeah,
good on
it's not really about the why. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm using the monster to explain something. So
I don't care about Blurple. Just give to the monster.
yeah, so he makes Blurthal, and then he's like, and I need electricity to power it, and then
Sure.
and then Frankenstein comes alive. It's really great. But I heard that line and I was just like, what do you mean?
Why did you? Come on, let's get to the monster part.
and by the way, so one of the main conflicts of the movie is that the professor has two brains next to each other, as a professor
the
does.
old mix 'em up.
And
The
there's
doctor,
like
not Dr.
there's like
Frankenstein, but the other doctor who
the
was
professor,
the trigger warning guy. Yeah,
Professor Plum. He
Yes.
has, as one does, he has two brains, and one brain is like a choice
Perfect.
brain, like just the best brain you could ever
Good-ass
ask for.
brain.
And then next to that brain is they do a little bit of like old school like head measurement science,
Yeah.
where like, this is the brain of a criminal, and you
Frenetic,
can
or-
tell. And you can tell because of the ridges. Look at this brain. I wouldn't wipe my ass with this brain. Like,
we got the
this is-
calipers out and everything.
yeah, look at this is the worst. This is the worst brain of the worst brains.
Right.
And Fritz does a little whoopsie do, and I think he like breaks the one brain, and he's like, wow, and then he gets the other brain. Which, by the way, I really identify with Fritz in that moment. Is like, he knows that he messed up, but instead of just coming clean, he like goes along with it. Like,
Yeah, what's
up
he gonna
into
do?
the
Go back
point
to
where, like,
Dr. Frankenstein? Because you know what Dr. Frankenstein's gonna do? Cut out his brain and then turn him into
Yeah.
the Frankenstein. So no, switch the
Yeah,
brains.
yeah.
Who fucking cares?
So he just like, as he's like switching all the levers and stuff, it's probably something along the lines of just like, he's like, when Frankenstein starts murdering people, he's just like, whoa, man. Oh, well, this could have been avoided.
Ugh.
But so the first time we see Frankenstein is pretty funny. Frankenstein just like kind of walks into a doorway, and there
Sure.
is no music cue or anything. It's just like they're talking, and then Frankenstein just kind of like a toddler just kind of
Yeah.
wanders into the doorway.
Well,
and
he's
they're
just been
like,
born.
Yeah, and they're just like, whoa, what the, hey man, what's going on? And it's just like, it's like, pretty cool, huh? Anyway, this is him reaching for the sun. All right.
Right.
And then Fritz, who's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Fritz is the absolute strangest dude in the world. He like starts like attacking Frankenstein's monster with some fire for like no reason.
Right.
And that ultimately leads to Fritz's demise because
Yes.
later on, Fritz is like whipping at Frankenstein's monster, and then Henry is like, leave him alone, Fritz. Let's leave him alone. And then he just like grabs a fire and stards just like
Right.
shoving it in his face.
Well, because they lock
it's
him in the
like-
basement so that he.
I know,
won't
but it's like,
attack
Fritz,
anybody.
you're being a weirdo, man.
Yeah,
Just
Fritz is
like
being a
let
real
it
dick.
go. Like, and then so the monster hangs him, which is pretty cool.
Which again,
so
for a
Fritz
guy
is,
that could barely walk through doors, I'm surprised he knew how to like make a noose and stuff. But fine, whatever.
yeah, so Fritz is dead. That's a big L. And then some shenanigans happen.
Skip. Somebody else dies.
Skip. They give the monster some rhino tranquilizer.
Whatever.
I hadn't seen this movie before,
Sure.
and I knew there was something to do with a little girl, but I didn't know what it was.
It's because you've heard it from me, and it's the thing that I talk about with this movie the most. But yeah, we skip. More people die. Anyway, he walks into a field and sees a little girl. This is a scene that's also in the book, and this is my like central thesis about this movie in particular, and also all Frankenstein movies. But basically, the monster escapes. He is zip-zapping around. Also, Dr. Frankenstein is like getting married. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
And then
so
but he lets the professor. He's like, you take care of it for me. I gotta go get married. And then he's
yeah,
like, okie dokie. And
yeah.
he's never like, do you want me to like hang back
You
or
you
it's
want me
like,
to just
nah, I
shoot
got it.
this
Don't
thing
worry.
with a gun? No.
Yeah,
All right.
don't worry about it. Don't
Don't
worry
sweat it.
about it.
Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go get married.
Anyway, he dies.
So yeah, he dies. A lot of people die. It doesn't matter.
He gets like Vulcan pinched. Like Frankenstein comes like he pinches him on the neck really hard and he goes, ah, and then he falls
Anyway,
over.
so Frankenstein's monster walks into this field and sees this little girl who's throwing like flowers into a lake, and he's like, oh, he doesn't talk in this movie also, which again,
Yeah.
you know what Frankenstein is. You know that he doesn't talk, but I'm just going to explain what happens in the book instead. So anyway, in the movie, he doesn't talk. He's like, oh, and he's throwing flowers with the little girl, and then they run out of flowers. And I think this is supposed to be a gag, but like they run out of flowers. So he's like, oh, I guess I'll throw you. So he throws her into the river, and she drowns to death and dies. This comes up later when like the dad finds the body, and it's part of the reason they kill the monster at the end. Anyway, what happens in the book, and this is what's crazy to me, about half the book is about Frankenstein's monster learning to read and talk and deciding to name himself Adam. Like that's like his whole thing is like him developing a sense of identity and like becoming a full person and not being Frankenstein's monster and become in the end, what is his undoing is he's pushing Dr. Frankenstein to create the bride of Frankenstein because he doesn't want to be alone. So he wants Dr. Frankenstein to create, this is in the book, to create a second monster that's a woman so that he can marry her, I guess. I don't know if they would get married, but they would be companions.
And have a really cool haircut.
Yeah, exactly. And Dr. Frankenstein refuses to do it and blah, blah, blah. That's how the book goes. Read the book. Anyway. So, this scene with the little girl does happen in the book. But what happens in the book is that he walks into this field and sees a little girl drowning and jumps in and saves her, right? But then I think a villager like sees this happening or something and misunderstands and believes he's trying to drown the girl. So, my whole point about this scene and my point about every Frankenstein movie.
Are you saying that maybe that Frankenstein, the movie, is the events of the book, but from the villager's perspective?
This is word for word the thing I have said to you, and yes, this is exactly my point. The reason you know about this scene is me saying that to you. Yes, this is my whole point about this movie, and every Frankenstein movie, is that they are from the perspective of the villagers.
Except for I, Frankenstein.
Except I, Frankenstein.
Which is from the perspective of the gargoyles.
Well, yes, and it also has the tundra scene, so they've definitely read the book, at least, which is weird, but that someone else calls him Adam, but they've obviously read the book at least, which is fine. Anyway, it is so bizarre to me that they would have this scene from the book and be like, nah, he doesn't talk, and also he drowns the girl. When there's like a pivotal part of the book of him learning to talk, and the fact that he definitely does not drown the girl. Like, that's not what happens. The villagers misunderstand and think he's a monster, and that's why they want to kill him. But he isn't a monster. That's the point. One of the points of the book. I find it really fascinating. If I thought it was on purpose, I would find it a better movie. I think it's a fine movie. But it's weird that maybe with the exception of I, Frankenstein, no one has ever made a movie that like is even close, not even like faithful to the book.
Let me look up. There's a movie called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Maybe that one's close.
Maybe he probably has bolts in his necks and goes, and
it's probably shredded.
Anyway, it's very bizarre to me that this movie exists in the way that it does. This scene is so bizarre to me because, again, it doesn't seem like the production had any, like, cheeky, this is how the villagers thought of it. They seem to be playing it completely straight as if this is the story of Frankenstein. But it is not at all the story of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I don't care. I'm not like being a pill about it. But it is interesting to me that it is so off in such core ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so the rest of it goes on, and we all know what happens. The villagers show up.
Course, yeah.
They bust it down. I will say there is at one point where Frankenstein's monster throws Henry off of a windmill, and then he just gets slams into the windmill, slams right into it, and it's like clearly a dummy, but I was shocked because I was
dead.
I gasped openly. I went, because he throws him off this windmill and he just splats onto the windmill, and then the windmill keeps turning, and then just plops his dead ass onto the ground, and a bunch of villagers come up around him and go, "He's alive," and I go, "No, he is not.
No, he isn't. His ribs are touching his spine. He's not alive.
So dead." And then the movie ends and it's him on bed rest from his super
incredibly fatal injury
of falling off a windmill, and his dad does a little joke, which I think is kind of funny. His dad goes haha, anyway, here's to he says something here's to a son in the house of Frankenstein or something like that, and it's just right, this is kind of a weird time to do a joke. But I will say that my only complaint with the movie is that old Henry got off scot-free. Nothing happened to him.
He made Frankenstein, and they're it's cool.
Yeah, he made the thing, and I think that he was just oh, weird that it's going to that windmill that I own. Anyway, let's grab him. Let's get him.
I think my only complaint about this movie, because again, what I said previously is not a complaint. I just find it interesting. My only complaint is that there's a character named Victor. I find that really annoying and frustrating. That's my only complaint about the movie, is that they named the other dude who isn't Victor Frankenstein Victor, and it's really confusing for no reason.
It's I think that they were just this is a little nod to the audience that read the book, but it's except it's not a nod, because he's a speaking character who is in scenes with Henry Frankenstein. So
it's not he went to a restaurant and they called him Victor and they're oh, sorry, wrong person. It wasn't they got him mixed up. It wasn't a cheeky little joke. It's a full-ass different character that makes it hard to talk about, because multiple times I wanted to call Henry Victor Frankenstein, and it's no, that's not his name. In the movie, he's Henry Frankenstein.
Anyway, it's good stuff. We'll continue on, I believe, next time. I really want to watch Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Okay. And we have to watch Dracula, because it's the first one.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. But that concludes Midnight Movies, and I think it concludes our show. So
I think it also does. Yes,
that's all we have. If you want to see more of our stuff, you can find us on YouTube at Get Better Podcast, or on Instagram at Get Better Podcast. That's at Get_Better_Podcast. If you want to reach us, you can reach us at meetthefockers2 fockedup@gmail.com. That's meetthefockers2 fockedup@gmail.com. And if you are listening to us on iTunes, if you leave us a rate and review, that would be really, really helpful. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, just please continue to do so. And if you're watching us on Twitch right now, which is Twitch, and that's Get Better Podcast, like everything else. If you're watching us on Twitch, drop a hey. I don't know how Twitch works exactly. But we'll be doing lots of fun stuff on Twitch. Sam is currently breaking the record for the speed run for Rogue Warrior, and we'll be doing some other stuff. So please follow us on Twitch. We'll be doing lots of. We'll still be doing the podcast, obviously, but we'll be doing a bit more of behind the scenes things. So you can see that on our Twitch channel. And I think that's all I have. So see you guys next week.
All right.
All right.
See you. Bye forever.
See you. Bye forever.